and welcome back to Under the Iron Flag, where we just want to talk about One Piece. We got our captain, Inagro, in the corner there.
Yo.
We got our vice captain, Lucian. He's back from the dead.
I am. Hello.
Wait, did you guys
The
not
reference to
follow
that
me
may
behind
have
my
been
back?
like 3 or 4 weeks ago for you. Who knows?
That's all right. I got cat lives.
Yeah, because he was Irwin in our Attack on Titan episode.
That's right. That was.
What was I in your Sinfo Gear episode? Was I just like?
Oh, we didn't give like roles
No.
to people in that. Oh, we should do that next time.
Okay.
Good suggestion.
Lame.
You had to do
Thank you
it
for the
that way.
suggestion. I'll need to write that
You
down.
had to do that.
Like I said, we're here to talk about One Piece, and we're here to talk about my favorite part of the story so far. Ooh, okay, and for the ranking, since it's gonna be number one for me. So don't ask me at the end, Inagro, okay?
Okay, got it. You have to figure out the group ranking though.
Oh, Fredger.
I don't think it'll be that hard
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay, before I start going into this and loving this and just talking about this too much, I want to hear your guys' thoughts generally about this last part of Skypia. The last time we read Skypia was a while ago. Do you guys remember what happened? Or, I mean, Inagro, you just read the chapters. I know
Not all of
Lucian.
them. Not all of them. Only the last few.
Okay.
I read
What
the
were your
first half
general
the other day.
thoughts as far as you recall?
Yes. what were
And
your-
then
Well, for me, I think there's two very distinctive parts to the second half of this arc.
yeah, I'd agree.
There is the stuff I read.
Okay, well,
Wait for it.
not how I'd
No,
split
wait.
it up.
There is the stuff I read a few days ago, and then I got to the flashback and said, it's too late for this. I'm going to wait and put it off. And so the second half is the stuff I read today. The stuff I read a few days ago, some cool shots, some cool moments, but overall, it's normal One Piece. The second half, what I read, the flashbacks, and what came after the flashbacks, best thing in the series so far.
Oh, yes!
Wow.
I'm so happy! I thought you wouldn't like it, because a lot of people don't like this arc.
Flashback is the best thing I've seen Oda write so far. They were incredible.
It's my favorite flashback, too.
I care about
liked
more
it
than
so
Mont
much
Blanc than
so.
I do any other character.
So you like the second part, like after the flashback?
Yes, I do also like the stuff after the flashback.
Yes.
All came around really well for pretty much every character.
Okay.
Most of them,
That's
except
cool.
for Usopp and Sanji were there, I guess. And
Oh, come on.
then Chopper
came
was
in clutch.
unconscious for over half the arc.
Who
Well,
was?
when you get
Chopper,
sliced by clouds,
the raccoon.
Oh,
The raccoon,
fair.
as was stated.
the reindeer.
The Tanuki. Raccoon dog.
Lucian, what were your general thoughts on second part of the Skype?
Yeah, no, I mean it obviously has some of the most like memorable parts of to me One Piece, right? Like as Agro just mentioned, the flashback is incredible. Honestly, I kind of forgot about the flashback. Like when I say memorable parts of One Piece, that's not what I was talking about. I forgot entirely about that, and I'm glad I did because I was kind of able to like re-experience it and re-enjoy it, and man, that's really good. I love the snake,
Snake's
the little baby snake
It's so good.
coming back as like the giant serpent that Luffy was in its stomach for half the arc. The payoff with the bell and everything, it's really good. I think that the battle between Eneru and Luffy is really good. Eneru's motivation is pretty interesting. I'd be interested to get Agro's thoughts on that in
We'll
a
get to
second
that
here.
later. We'll save that
Okay,
for the end.
okay, fair. And yeah, and even in like the final chapter, we got a lot of interesting setup stuff. So there were so many cool panels. We got so much information on stuff. We got the last Devil Fruit classification. We finally heard about Logia powers. Oda was kind enough to specify in one of the SBSs what's a Paramethea so far? Paramecia? Why the fuck? Sorry, why? They changed the translation from Paramecia to Paramythia, and it's driving me insane.
Your official
Zone
translation
and
sucks,
Logia.
man.
It goes back. It started Paramecia, and then it changed. It changes now to Paramythia, and now it changes again in the future to Paramecia. I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, uh, this arc's very cool. Robin is the best. The end.
That's a good amalgamation of everything.
Yes.
Uh, okay, I'm gonna go into my thoughts, but it's gonna
Yes.
be a lot.
Sure.
So, you guys want me to go? Okay, I'll go.
This is in fact a
Okay,
podcast where we are meant to give our thoughts and words, talk, speak
it's just
about One
okay.
Piece.
So, yes, Skypia is, like I said, it's one of the most watched arcs for me. I've watched it more times than I've rewatched the whole series, to be honest. Uh, and it kind of, I think it's like one of my earliest rewatchable arcs. Like I've watched it over and over and over again. Like so much so that when I saw Calgara and Norland, Malfig,
Noland.
what?
Yep.
I
Noland,
don't
yeah, his
remember
name is
half the
Noland.
characters' names. I'm going to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
when I saw
There's so many.
when I saw the flashback, I kind of forgot. Like I haven't watched it in a while. So and I forgot that like I like Lucian, I kind of forgot like the history and where it's at in the story. But like when I saw them, like this wave of nostalgia hit me so hard. I was just like, man, I miss these characters so much. I haven't seen them in so long. And it was the same for Canis and for Waipa and for like everybody else in this arc. It's just like I forgot how good this arc was. I always come back to it and I always forget how good it is and I come back to it. But when I was reading it, it's kind of it's not a different experience. And it's not better than the anime, I won't say. I think they're kind of like the manga has its strengths and the anime has its strengths. Like I wouldn't recommend one over the other. But I just like reading it was just so much fun. Like I said in the last episode, this is a fun adventure. And this last part is very much the themes of the series on steroids. Let's be real. Like if you want the themes of One Piece in a short amount of time, it's these 33 chapters, at least the history afterwards. Because we got this idea of like inherited will. I think I'm going to start with the history, just like start talking about that. So
Multiple
we
pages
have
of notes.
yes, I think we should start with the history because I think it is the best flashback in the entire series, in my opinion. And I kind of forgot that it was from Waipa's perspective because we go to Waipa and he's seeing like his homeland being destroyed by Enel in like a Ragnarok fashion. Those panels, like those two spread panels, are just so
There are
awesome of the
so
island being
many
destroyed.
double like spread like
Yeah, and
pages.
they're
Yeah,
all great.
I have to say, like,
yeah.
Kingdom Come.
I'm yeah, I'm gonna ask you, Lucian, because Saflam, you obviously love this arc in both anime and manga form. Is there?
Yes.
There's no way the anime comes close in visuals.
It's been too long
Like,
for me to
oh,
fairly
fair.
say one
Okay,
way or the
I'm
other.
going to maybe I'll ask Saflam, then you remember. Like, there are just some pages that show like such huge landscapes. Like there are
Yeah,
some
I think
insane double spreads.
I think the strength of the manga is that it can go detailed in backgrounds. The anime doesn't really go like if you compare to like let's say the Beanstalk for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bean Jack, Big Jack, what was it called?
I
The
don't
name.
know.
I didn't bother to
I
remember.
forgot
The
what it's called.
beanstalk.
I'll check as
Yes,
we're
the
talking.
huge beanstalk that allows Jaya to stay where it is.
Hmm.
It's more detailed in the manga, especially in the colored version, but when you go to the anime, it's kind of like a backdrop, so it's kind of like watercolored, I feel like a little bit.
Yeah.
So definitely the backgrounds are a little better in the manga than they are in the anime.
Yeah.
But that doesn't say that the anime has strengths in pacing. I feel like this last part was paced a little bit too quick, but I'm a quick reader, so maybe it's just me. But the manga kind of like does like takes a beat. I mean, the anime takes it slow and doesn't rush it like the manga does. I feel like that's just my opinion. But like I said, each has their strengths and each has their weaknesses. Definitely the color spreads and the double page spreads were awesome in the manga. Probably one of my favorite parts. And like Waipa is looking at them and he's and then we go back to a flashback where he's being told about the history of his ancestors, and the chief kind of pulls him aside and tells him the personal story of the city of Shandor and why they should get it back and why they keep fighting for it, not just because their ancestors protected it 800 years ago from invaders for the poneglyph, like protecting the history, but also because 400 years ago Calgara and Noland, they met each other and they bonded over the city of gold and just being friends, and how that promise was never fulfilled. And so it kind of added this another layer as to why Waipa is the way he is. I forgot that the flashback was from his perspective. I always thought the flashback was random, like we just went to it. But the thing about Oda is that you never go into anything through without going through a character's perspective. I feel like I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Lucian, but like every flashback has been from somebody's perspective. Every part of the series has been from somebody's perspective. I might be wrong though.
Like in general throughout the
Yeah,
series?
just in general throughout the series, I feel like that's the case.
I think so, but I could definitely just not be remembering one. But I would say, generally speaking, that would be correct.
Right.
I'm sure you'll have a couple scenes with like a few dozen characters that just have everyone,
Yeah, yeah.
in a
Of course,
particular
like the
person.
Straw Hats perspective or like but I really loved Waipa in this arc. I never liked him before. I was always just like, "Nah, he's there." But
Mhm.
like in this arc, like the flashback is from his perspective, and like that awesome he has so many awesome panels where he's like and Enel asks him, he's like, "Why do you keep fighting?" And then he's like, "For my ancestors. Like there is a promise that isn't fulfilled and they fought for us and I want to fight for them. I want to fulfill that promise." And why he's so mad all the time because he can't, because he's carrying kind of like that anger. He's inheriting that will from his ancestor. So, and he's taken it upon himself to do that. And if you contrast that with Noland rejected his ancestor. He didn't like his family was known as a family of liars because of
Uh,
Noland.
Cricket.
Yes, Cricket, sorry.
No, you're good. It's very confusing.
Yeah. Cricket was like he hated Noland. He didn't like him because like his whole life he was just known as a liar just because of that association. And then he unknowingly ends up on the island that Noland talked about, and he unknowingly ends up like inheriting his ancestors' will despite not wanting to, if you guys get what I'm saying. So we got
Yeah.
somebody who wants to inherit their ancestors' will, and we got somebody who doesn't but does it anyway
Yep.
because it's just like, isn't it romantic? Like he says, like what,
Mhm.
like this isn't a coincidence. I feel like with Cricket he was like, I have to do this now because I'm here and this isn't a coincidence. And it's just interesting to contrast these two characters that and they never meet. It's just so annoying to me that they never meet. Waipa never meets the Cricket is one of the like, oh, I hated it so
Well,
much, but it's also
I
makes sense,
liked it.
right?
I
my
liked it.
favorite part about Nolan being dubbed Nolan the Liar, right, is that ironically, that so far that we know of, the only lie he told was that he would meet Kalgara and their people again.
Oh my god. Stop
So
it, Lucian.
as he's leaving, he says, "We'll meet again, my friend," and they never ever meet again.
Really?
That's the only lie we've seen him tell. Everything else he's been completely truthful on. So even into generations so far, they still have not met again because
Mhm.
Cricket still hasn't met them. The
Yeah.
Bell has in a way like reunited them, but not directly. You know.
I think for me, and this is like one of the reasons why I wanted Waipa to join the crew, because not only does he interact with them the most, other than Caunus, he like yeah, if he went to the Blue Sea, then he might have met Cricket, right? And then that promise would have been fulfilled. But he doesn't join the crew, so that doesn't happen.
Every character, every new character here is how to put it, very much they're a here person. They are not. They are not travelers. They don't want to leave their home. Every single person's motivation is their home.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Uh, I can dream.
Understandable. I'm sure I'll meet that one character that I meet, and like I wish they had stayed forever, other than Vivi, of course.
So, Inagra, what did you think of the flashback?
Oh, like I said, it's the best. It's my favorite thing of the series so far. It's a self-contained short story.
Really true,
It's
yeah.
very tragic short story about these two guys coming from opposite perspectives, and they ended up being the best of friends. It's so good. I will say,
It is. Yeah.
so the reason the island's up in the sky is because it got shot up into the sky.
I think
It's
it's because of
the
the giant
knock-up
jack,
stream.
right? And right, the giant jack in the knock-up stream, isn't it?
Well, yes, that's what I
Yes.
mean. Like, it's just it's not, no, there's no reasoning behind it. It's a natural disaster.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I was kind of hoping and wanting it to be something. I thought it was like a mystery we were trying to set up.
Well, I mean, we already know that, we were already introduced to the knock-up stream as our way of getting up there. So, of course, a large enough version of that could theoretically knock up land. It would just take a lot of force. And due to the clouds of Skypia, it got stuck up there. It didn't just fall back down and kill everyone. It
Yeah, I'm
landed
just saying,
and stayed like a pillow.
I was expecting for it to be a big plot point and not just it happened. The end.
That's fair. I guess I never really thought of it that way when I was watching. I was just assumed it got knocked up there.
Not a huge deal.
I can
Just
understand that.
a little thing. I thought it was like gonna
I
be like
like
a
how-
mystery thing. You go.
I like how the Jack, the beanstalk, kind of separates the city into layers, and so nobody can find where the city is because of that. And so that's kind of a mystery. And Robin kind of finds it in 2 seconds because she's
The best. The
she's
coolest.
smart. And then I think NL said it took them like 3 or 4 years. Like it took them years to find the ancient city and get all the gold from it. NL's like, "Wow, you're such a smart girl." And then I don't know why NL wanted the bell. I didn't get that. guys
Was
know
he
why?
not using it for power, right? Like, because it
He
was
just wanted
such
the
a large
gold?
source? No, because it's such a large conductor of electricity, I think he was
Oh,
using
there
it
you
to power the Arc Maxim.
Yes, you see,
There
he
you go.
looked up at the sky and saw a perfect society.
go.
This man
What
was
did you
playing
think of-
Endwalker.
What do you guys think of NL as a villain? He's
think
kind of like
he
basic.
is pretty basic but cool.
yeah,
Like,
that's a good way.
he's
to put
not the most interesting, but he's also not supposed to be. He's supposed to be a big cool guy who shoots lightning and is cool.
it. That 1-page panel of him being shocked. I didn't know it was a full page.
Great. It was
It's
great.
so funny.
Well, you know what? This is a perfect time. Let's talk about the moon.
Okay.
He actually just said, "I'm gonna go to the moon," and make.
Yeah, I just said it. He played Endwalker, bro. He's like, let's go to the moon.
I will say, I didn't expect airships this soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured it would happen eventually. Didn't expect them this soon. Also, the One Piece is a spaceship. Calling it now. It's a spaceship that goes
But
to
the
the
Arc
moon.
Maxim is a
They're not-
spaceship.
actually.
You can't not go to the moon unless he crashes in some, opening chapter opening page side story. You gotta go to
Yeah.
the moon. There's no way. I would be extremely disappointed if the series does not go to the moon.
There's actually a lot of
Fair.
theories surrounding like the moon and space in One Piece, but I can't
sure
go into
is.
it without like spoiling
That's
something. So
understandable.
Yeah, it all
To
To
happens
me,
like
the world is too
later
big
on.
to not do space stuff. It's just
Yeah.
too big and weird in a good way.
Lucian, what did you think of NL as a villain?
I like him. I like one, I don't know. He has this just inherent cockiness because he genuinely believes he is God, right?
That's what
Like
scares me about
this
him.
line of like, he gets up, uh, I Wiper lands this blow
Also, he
on him.
wins. Good point. I didn't think of he wins. Like he gets what he
Yeah, he
wants.
does.
Not in the
He
way
d-
he
he does
That's
get
wanted,
what
but
true.
he
he gets
wants. Yeah,
exactly what he wants.
he does
That's
take an airship to the moon. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get, and no one
Uh,
came with him.
no, which
Thought he was
he
gonna get
didn't
four.
necessarily
No, he wanted
want, I
four. He
guess.
wanted four really cool dudes.
He
And he
I
got
feel like
didn't
Nami
Fernando
need
for a
that.
understands
little
him the
bit,
most.
but
Yeah.
I will say I loved when Nami was just like, "I'll go, yeah, cool."
Which smart,
Yeah, after he
like
defeated
die
the
or feed his
man,
ego.
I wanted to see a cool fight. I mean, there was a little bit of one, but I wanted to see when he was like, "Okay, there's only 5 of us left," and he was obviously wrong, because Nami was behind a corner with the dog. Um,
No, he was counting her. He wasn't counting himself, I don't think.
He was counting her, yeah, and then he took out Robin, and then he's like, "Perfect, we're
I thought
perfect
he was
now."
counting. He was counting himself. He said he was part of the game.
Oh, maybe you're right.
The whole point was that one of them had
I
to go.
think he was saying
He knew
there
Nami
has
was
to
there.
be, there's
Yeah.
supposed to be 5 right now, but there is an extra one,
Yeah,
so
there's an
one of
extra
you
one.
has to
He knew
go.
Nami. He did not know about
You're
Robin.
right.
Um, but
But
yes,
yeah,
the shot of the panel of them, of him going, well, someone's got to go, and they're each like, hey, are you gonna leave? And no, not me. I don't want to go. Not me. And I refuse. And then they all shout, "You're the one who should disappear." With I forget everyone's names, with the old man pointing his spear,
Gunfall, Wiper,
Wiper pointing
Zoro,
his
and
bazooka,
Robin.
Zoro pointing his sword, and Robin holding her hand up,
Yeah.
menacingly.
And Nami cowering in the background, like, don't turn me in!
I wanted a cool fight. I'm sad we didn't get one, but still, I'm
Well,
glad
what
Robin
I did
got.
like about that is, so, you know, like, Eneru does take down Robin pretty easily after, like, a brief exchange about the location of the bell.
Yeah, which honestly, I'm okay with that. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Their powers are not her powers
She
are not
can't
particularly
go
against that.
after, as we've sort of learned through this arc, Paramecia fruits do not really pair up well against Logia fruits. And we've seen that over the rest of the series as well. Like, Luffy can't really fight Smoker, right? He can't hit him. He just goes through him.
Yeah.
So Robin, being a Paramecia fruit, she just can't touch Eneru. So Zoro goes after Eneru, and he's also unable to do anything. But he does open up this opportunity for Wiper to come in, and Wiper's gun has a Sea Prism Stone embedded in it.
It's not
allowing...
his gun, it's his scooter.
Was it his scooter?
Yeah, because Zoro picks up his scooter to try and do something, but he's too late. And that's why he puts his legs around him, so that the Kairoseki touches his back.
Oh, okay. I just knew at some point one of Wiper's things touched Eneru, which disabled his, Logia fruit abilities,
And
therefore allowing Wiper to... Yeah, he used the projectile, killing him, stopping his heart, and Eneru was like, should have kept that on me, bitch. And uses his devil fruit to revive himself from death. And I did check to see whether this method of shocking would work on that type of heart rhythm, and it would. So that's cool. If he had just died from brute force trauma, it seems like technically that could actually work.
I'm
so
thinking
yeah,
about it. Eneru might be my favorite villain.
Wow.
I could see that. You
Like,
can definitely see why
all...
this is considered like an invincible fruit, right?
Oh yeah, but we got the Rubberman.
Yeah, but then
True.
The second he was introduced, it was obvious what was going to happen.
Oh, for sure. But otherwise, if not for Luffy, right? Like, it's nearly impossible to hit him. He has this incredible offensive strength. And if you do manage to take him down, he revives himself from death.
Yes, when we get up to the moon, we'll find he's been there fighting the final antagonist for years. just constantly, but he's the strongest ever. Mhm. Mhm.
I think the one thing I like about Luffy versus NL is like Nami's like, oh, she's his natural enemy or whatever, but then NL's like, this is impossible. I'm like the strongest thing ever. And then Luffy's like, dude, there's like a bunch of people in the Blue Sea that could whoop your butt. Like,
That was so
Yeah.
great. He's like,
yeah.
bro, I suck. You know how many people can whip me? They can totally take you down. Shanks?
Yeah.
You think Shanks couldn't beat you, bro?
Right. Which is something that I really like because everybody's like hyping up Luffy as his natural enemy or whatever, but
He's
I
just
don't.
a
I feel
big
like there's a
fish in a
lot of.
small pond.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like there's a lot of other people that could defeat NL
Oh, for sure.
without
You think
having to use his
Blackbeard
own.
couldn't take down, like, NL? Keep in mind, by the way, NL has come into power, what was it, 5 years ago?
Six
Right?
years.
6 years. Gold Roger's crew, sorry, Goldie Roger, thank God we can finally say it, was here
Wait,
20
what?
years ago.
That
What?
was new information.
No, no, no. In the start of the manga, he was always
Uh-huh.
referred to as Gold Roger.
What?
Uh,
No, he wasn't.
yes, he was.
Oh, he
They
wasn't?
never.
Is
Yes, he was.
I have not.
Yes,
Have I referred to
Marine
him as Gold Roger a
propaganda.
single time?
we all did. Yeah.
I have not.
And until Drum Island, we do not know that his name is Goldie Roger until the witch lady, who I'm
There's
currently
no
forgetting
way.
her
They
name.
introduced him in Chapter 1 as Gold D. Roger.
No, they do not.
No,
He's Captain
Gold Roger.
Gold D. Roger. That's what I read at the first chapter.
Nope. You can go reread it right now if you'd
I'm
like.
going
But
to.
regardless,
Yes, go on.
as you do that,
Mhm.
um, you know, do you really think Goldie Rogers' crew could not have taken out NL?
Obvious.
Oh, they could.
Come
2
on.
seconds
Do
left.
you think the Pirate King's crew couldn't take down this dude in 2 seconds?
And the religious. What did you guys think about the religious symbolism? Because I feel like it was very muffled. I didn't get where he was going with it, to be honest. That's always been like the one weakness of this arc to me. Just like the religious symbolism in the flashback and in like Skypia in general.
I think it was
It's like
just
They do
kind of
call
meant to
him
be
Gold
like
Roger.
Yeah, I know.
I've
I've
never thought
watched
of
the.
Why have I maybe I just never like I've seen his name before, so I just called him that.
That's
I've
fair.
known
I
I've
don't
known
know.
that fact. That's not new information to me, but I didn't know it was a plot twist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've specifically brought up on the podcast like that Luffy is Monkey D. Luffy.
Right,
That
because
is
he's
part of my
introduced as that.
yes, and then be relating that to him being Gold D. Roger.
Uh,
But
but
well, it's over now. We know
as
now.
far as the religious stuff,
Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah, no, definitely.
Because
I
I'm
don't know.
definitely for the in the flashback. Noland is basically like you can believe in whatever you want to believe in, but don't use that to kill people. Basically, like why are you
Right.
sacrificing
Yeah.
people to a deity that like technically doesn't exist? Like it it's it's kind of like it's an excuse to kind of like scapegoat somebody to for all your problems. All right.
Exactly. He's saying like,
These
don't scapegoat your problems onto one person and just shove it under the rug, because you're all gonna die if you do.
right. And I really like the flashback version of the religious allegory and how like Calgara came. He's like, "What did I just kill?" And he's like, "You killed the snake." Like
That
it
was
was a
very
giant
funny.
snake
Them
that
like
beat up.
laughing over that in the
Yeah.
future too was very funny. The
Like an
flashback
inside
stuff
joke.
was pretty good. I thought, like,
Mhm.
in the regards to how they handled that.
But then
Um,
the religious symbolism in Skypia is like we can't believe in God because God is a tyrannical ruler. And I know in the Viz version they refer to him as Kami, but like in the version that I read, it's like he's God basically. Like that's what they're saying.
yeah, I mean,
And
it
then
is basically just the title, but yes, he is God for all intents
yeah,
and purposes.
and then everybody at the end, like all the citizens, they all just start praying to God, but not Enel. Like they're not praying to Enel, they're praying to something.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, if you were like trying to go for like, oh, you shouldn't put all your hopes in your faith, like you need to do stuff yourself, right? You need to do like research, Nolan said, like he's a botanist, he's a scientist, and he's been through the tree fever, and so that when he sees people killing people randomly without like it's like all his I think his village was the one that was affected by the tree fever and why he became a botanist. I don't know if that's the case, but I think that was happened and why he got so mad that they were going to sacrifice this girl, Moose or something. Is her
Yeah,
name.
that's her
But
name.
then
Is it
yeah.
really? Wow.
Yeah, it's like the
Musse.
cream,
I don't think
like
that's
the
how you. I don't
cream
think it's
mousse.
pronounced a moose, but maybe we'll just call her that.
Like
It is
mousse.
on this podcast.
and then and then we go to Skypia and we have like this tyrannical ruler who's proclaiming himself to be God and all that stuff. And the people buy it because they're scared because they don't want to die, right? So like wouldn't it be that they're not supposed to be praying to God? They're supposed to be like just hoping things turn out okay. But then like I don't know how you'd write it. I feel like he wrote it well, but I just don't think the symbolism works well, if you get what I'm saying.
No, I understand what you mean. Yeah. I I like the I like the bits with Enel just sort of like playing up his godhood, right? Like the Ark Maxim being obviously like a Noah's Ark, right? Equivalent of like everyone currently here is going to die. The people who I choose can survive on this ark. Everyone else is dead. Uh, and his line after reviving himself, people do not fear the kami. Fear is the kami, right? Like he's very much playing up this like, you know, I am God. I am evil God. You should be scared. Um, his like religious um move names are kind of really cool, like the his the coolest attack he does is what, Kingdom Come, right?
Yeah.
uh
It's the coolest ever.
it's such a cool attack, just because I mean he destroys what, all of the Sky Island basically,
Yeah.
to the point that they literally need to move together at the end of the arc.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have a choice. There is no longer a Sky Island to return to, like a Skypia, rather. They need to, live on Earth together. Because he just destroyed everything. It's a cool attack, it's just a really cool, threatening move. It felt honestly very like Sephiroth, like, and
I need to
it,
play Final Fantasy VII. You just reminded me.
yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean, and it felt almost like this, evil god versus sort of, good retired god in Gonfall, where he's like, hey, we should get rid of this title, we should get rid of godhood and just, be humans together,
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, so they learned the lesson at the end. I just didn't understand. And
Well, I
I'm
mean, he
fine
had
with
been
them
preaching it
praying.
for 20 years, in all
Right,
fairness. He learned that lesson. No one else did.
That's true. Uh, I just, man, I don't know. Inagro, maybe if am I tripping, or what did you think about the religious symbolism?
That's a complicated subject. I liked what they were going for, like with everyone in there. You know, it's the best and easiest to visualize way of give Luffy your spirit energy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
And
that's true.
it
Spirit
worked well.
palm.
Like for once, they were not praying to the kami. I think that was the point.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, when you say it like that.
Luffy is your god now.
Yes, that's
Oh
exactly
God,
what's going to
no.
happen. Nah, exactly. They missed the whole point. They missed out on it.
Man,
Well, I think it was a
yeah.
good way to showcase that, like, they had all, or most, at least, any character we saw, were no longer praying to the kami.
I think I loved Luffy's motivation at the end of this arc.
Yeah. It was real good.
of like wanting, even if Nami wasn't still kidnapped, like he had to ring the bell, and he wasn't even thinking about like, oh, it's cool, I want to go see the bell. It's like the diamond head Osan is gonna keep diving in the water if I don't ring this bell, and he's going to die. Because what did Chopper say? He's like, he got diving sickness, right? And like Nami's so like Nami isn't she isn't even thinking about that because everything's being destroyed and she's trying to escape. And I think that was like kind of a rude awakening for her. I like read a comment somewhere about this arc where Nami's kind of like character arc in this arc is knowing when to choose your battles. So in Jaya, she didn't like that Zoro and Luffy didn't fight Bellamy, and then she's confused about why Luffy is fighting Bellamy for the gold, and then she's they go to Skypia and she's trying to escape like this whole time she's trying to get off the island, right? Because she was the first one to see Enel's attack, right? And so she wants to leave as soon as possible. She doesn't want to die. That's her thing. She just wants to survive, right? Even if she doesn't get her money. But then I think she kind of understood when to choose your battles when she saw Luffy like fighting for somebody else. And the fact that he was doing it for somebody else's sake is when she was like, okay, I'll help you, but you have to protect me. I love that part that like she's still pragmatic. She's like, I still don't want to die, but I will help you because I understand now when to choose your battles. I think, and I never thought about it before that Nami kind of having a character arc over this saga. But yeah, I thought that
Nami's one of
part
the
was
few
really
characters
cool.
like I think she's had an arc in pretty much every like arc. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like fighting, the first time she fought was in Alabasta. Like caring about somebody else, like fighting for somebody
I mean,
else,
she's
and
been,
wanting to
obviously she's
protect
been
them.
around longer than most of the cast, but still, the fact that she's getting an arc, whereas our newer crew members, minus Robin, are there.
I actually kind of liked Zoro's kind of. I feel like Zoro had an arc too.
Zoro was cool. Yep,
Maybe,
I like
but
Zoro.
I think it was caring more about the others. I think that's because he's such a like a lone wolf character. Because when he saw Chopper, he tells the guy, he's like, "Oh, I'm not fighting him to get revenge, but I'm kind of pissed off, right?"
Yeah. Well, he says like, "I don't like fighting for revenge, but you about to make me."
Yeah, I think
and caring about
like fight like this, but ooh.
Get it, girl. I think in this arc he's trying to, and he's so cautious of Robin, right? He's like, I don't trust her, and even at the end of the arc, he's like, let's leave her alone. But when she gets electrocuted, he's the one that kind of saves her from getting her head like hitting the floor, from falling down, and he's like, she's a woman, you know, and Enel's like, I am aware. I saw.
I will say I think the three main crew members are always consistent, even when they're not getting focus.
That's fair. Yeah.
Whereas Sanji, Usopp, and Chopper are either getting focus or I'm just wondering why they're there. When they get focus, I like them.
Chopper just didn't have focus at the end. Like he was kind of, his confidence was the problem at the beginning of this arc, and he kind of regained it, but then he lost to that guy. So, and then like you said, he's unconscious for the rest of the arc. But Sanji and Usopp, I feel like with Sanji, I don't know. Sanji was cool this arc. He's the one who broke the arc maximum.
I don't know.
Always with the spy stuff, Sanji.
I hope they get more stuff that I'm enjoying soon, but for now,
Usopp,
they're kind of there.
Usopp like managed to save Nami, you know, like
and Sanji.
Well, more so. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Like I realize that they play more of a backseat role, but they do play an important one. So I understand your like issue with them. But I do still think that they play an important role in this arc. It's just obviously not on the same level as like a Nami or a Luffy. No, I would say Nami, Luffy, Robin are the three Straw Hats with the biggest impact on Skypia for sure. Yeah. But
and then Zoro does most of the fighting, as always, which is amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, there was a really, was that No, okay, I think that was last time. Uh, but yeah, I did really like Luffy's fight with Enel. Like when he first meets him, it's such a great panel, right? Like his clothes are damaged from being inside of the snake for so long. Like his entrance is just so much cooler for it. We finally get Enel's legendary reaction face as he slowly realizes, oh my god, he's rubber. He doesn't conduct electricity. And, Nami's like, oh my god, he's his natural enemy. Uh, but eventually Enel's like, hold on, why don't I just kick his ass normally? I'll just use my mantra and, dodge everything and just fight him physically. And I like that, Enel, once he's starting to be like challenged by someone, he has to think, right? So he starts to use his ability more. He molds this electricity that he just smites people with into a trident to attack Luffy with a sharp object. Um, leading to a pretty good moment where he's like, I bet you have a weakness to sharp objects, and Luffy's like, yeah, I do. Uh,
Yeah.
got me there. um,
I
yeah,
just
I don't know.
mentioned
I like that early fight a lot.
a funny moment, just a funny moment
Yeah, go
with
for it.
Usopp and Sanji. Like they climb the boat and Sanji's like, "You're gonna have to sacrifice yourself for Nami if it comes to it." And then
I'm not saving you, bro.
and then Usopp, like he's opening the door and he sees him, and then he closes the door. And then he comes out, and that panel in the anime, it's so funny when he's jumping to avoid the lightning strike, and then he does like that twirly thing, and then he hits his head on the edge of the ship.
I do like his like voodoo attack where he's just saying things that make you generally uncomfortable. Nails on a chalkboard. You have a hangnail. Like stupid, moderately uncomfortable things that end up just affecting Nami.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What is this a
And I
joke?"
was like, what are you doing?
And then what was the funny one where I think I didn't screenshot it, but he comes and he's like, "Nami, save me," and she's like, "Didn't you come here to save me?" I think Sanji and Usopp were there for comedic purposes, and I'm not mad about it. And then Sanji had that cool moment where he's like, "Oh, you didn't even light my cigarette," and then he faints from the lightning blast.
hmm
Isn't it weird that nobody dies from being struck by lightning? Like nobody dies in this arc from being struck by lightning.
No, I
Yeah.
guess that's true. I don't
Oda
expect
logic.
anyone. I don't expect anyone important to die from lightning or fire or gunshots,
Oh,
Fair.
man.
explosions, any of the sort.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say I did really like as Luffy was fighting Enel there,
Mhm.
Nami's sort of like terrified at this prospect of fighting a god, and she keeps like freaking out,
Yeah.
And Luffy calls out to her, and he's like, "Listen, you're
Yeah,
a
that's
crew
so good.
member of the future King of the Pirates. Stop acting so pathetic."
Yeah.
That was a good moment.
Anytime.
And she like it flipped a switch. Like she's like, "Okay,
Anytime any of the crew
got it."
are in any capacity going, "Oh yeah, that's right, he's gonna be king of the pirates," not like it. Mostly Zoro and sometimes Nami, not really the rest as much so far. But when they're just
Usopp
like,
had the one moment, but yeah.
yeah, like I said, they're not as they've been with Luffy the longest, so they've had the most moments of this, and they have the most faith in him. But like this moment of, oh yeah, that's right, he's gonna be king of the pirates. Especially Zoro. I know it didn't happen this arc, but you know what? I feel like talking about it. Anytime Zoro's like, he's gonna be the king of the pirates, this guy. He's cool.
Sometimes he doesn't even say it.
No,
It's
just
just
how he acts.
implied.
Yeah. And in this one,
Yeah.
she didn't say it either, but
No, he just
like
says it,
yeah.
and she stops.
And even if
And-
it's
You know
not
what's
that,
cool?
even if it's just look at the confidence he has. I should
Right.
have that too.
It led to a cool interaction with NL being like, what does the King of the Pirates have control of? And Luffy's
Yeah, that was
like,
good.
well, the King of the Pirates is king of all of the majestic oceans of the world. It's such a cool interaction led into by a really, really good moment of like, Luffy doesn't often tell his crew members, he doesn't often act like a captain in that way,
No,
where he's
very
like,
rarely.
hey, stop. Like, get your shit together. You're
Actually,
my crew member.
the last
Has he
time this
done that?
happened, yes, with Nami, back in what was
Oh,
her
was it
arc called?
Arlong?
No, or was it Arlong? Is that what it was called? Yeah, Arlong. When he put the hat on her.
Yeah,
And
so
so like
Arlong
yeah,
Park.
that was and he stopped her from cutting off the tattoo.
Uh-huh.
That was the last time this happened I can think of at least.
Hmm. What were
Um
you saying there,
I'm
Southland, though?
sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say that Zoro not only does he have this confidence with Luffy, but he was the first one to notice that Luffy wanted to ring the bell, like without like just from context clues
Hmm.
of them walking, and like when he told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, he's gonna go ring the bell right now," and Robin is like, "Surely not in this situation," and then he's like, "No, he's the kind of guy that will do what he wants when he wants, and he thinks he needs to do this, so he's gonna do it." Like going back to the fight in Jaya, like as well, where he didn't fight Bellamy. He didn't want to fight him, so he didn't. But then he fought him for the gold, so he did. So, and then Waipa is like, why is this idiot gonna go and like ring the bell? It's like this is our bell. Like he can't do that. And then Zoro's like, I don't know, but I gotta go help him because he's my captain. And then he goes cuts part of the beanstalk, and then Robin kind of she has to shift her thinking because she doesn't understand Luffy. Remember at the end of the arc, she's like, I'm also interested in him when she's talking to Gonfall. She and then she has to kind of explain to Wiper. I kept calling Wiper because of Asia. She explains
Uh,
to Wiper that like there's this his ancestor is diving in the sea every day trying to prove that his ancestor isn't his descendant ancestor isn't a liar. And then Wiper is like, wait, what's his name? And then she tells him the name, and he kind of like it's kind of a rude awakening for Wiper that he can't do this on his own. Like he has to rely on somebody else, and that's like the thing that he didn't want to do. Like he didn't want to rely on anybody else for this, right? He wanted to die trying to restore the honor of his ancestor.
mhm.
But like they're in this situation, he's used the reject dial like 3 or 4 times. His bones are all shattered by the
You're
end of
supposed
this.
to die after 2.
He's Wiper, okay? He's the descendant of demon of Shandora Calgara, so
It's fair.
I'm gonna possible, it's possible. But I kind of really love that dynamic between Zoro and Luffy, the fact that Zoro's the one who noticed that and the Wiper having to accept that he can't do this on his own and he has to accept somebody else ringing the bell for him. Just really cool moment, just really cool character arc. Like this character arc that Wiper goes through from being like demonic guerrilla warfare to ring the bell Mugiwara at the end, where he tells him ring the bell Straw Hat, and he
Yeah,
shouts into
yeah.
the air. Like Wiper is my favorite character of the arc. I'm sorry, that's the truth. He never was before either, which is weird. So like this reread made him my favorite character of the arc.
Hmm.
It always used to be Conus. Conus was always my favorite character because she got
Really?
that canon action when she was warning the others, and she was always protective of the crew, and she kind of cried when they left. I always wanted her to join too.
Yeah.
Wiper is good. Not no
Yeah,
Mont Blanc though.
Which
that's true.
one?
The good one.
Yeah, they're both good. Um, yeah, so I like that dynamic, and then the fact that Luffy kind of unknowingly inherited the will of both of these bloodlines. Like he inherited Cricket's will because he wants to help him, and he unknowingly inherited Wiper's will because there's no one else Wiper can rely on, and it just has they happen to have the same goal. So like this inherited will kind of in like it came together in Luffy. Like Luffy is the amalgamation, that's the word I was looking for. Amalgamation of this inherited will, that's this broken promise that's been going on for 400 years.
Cough, cough, leaning into my
And
theories on the overall plot of the franchise. Cough, cough.
yeah, okay. I want to hear them. You're actually really good with predictions and stuff like that.
That's pretty much it. You just explained it. My whole theory has been some sort of entity controlling fate, and Goldie Roger either defying that fate, or I would assume defying that fate. Whatever his plan was is all the plans are amalgamating in Luffy. I don't know how,
Yeah.
don't know why, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Going into, like you said, the
That's kind of what I'm
themes of the
trying to say.
overall franchise are very much
Mhm.
condensed into this arc, and I that's my theory. But go
Yeah,
on.
I think that sort of lines up with the whole, you know, Pirate King. There hasn't been a Pirate King since him, so like Pirate King to, it's a shonen anime. I don't think that since chapter 1, when Luffy declared, "I will be king of the pirates," he will not, fail to become king of the pirates. It's like
Ah!
Naruto not becoming the
Ah!
Hokage.
Actually,
Or
I could see him not becoming king of the pirates.
really?
I could see, yeah, I could see it.
Who? Early read. Who then?
Ooh, who? Um. Oh, that's a hard question. It's got to
Buggy
be
D
some
Clown,
the
obviously.
buggy D clown. Exactly. You got it. No, it'll be if I would not be surprised if Luffy does not get it. If he does not become king of the pirates, it'll be because he chooses not to be. So therefore,
Mm.
it'll be someone he picks, and Zoro wouldn't do it, Nami wouldn't do it, none of the crew would do it. So it's a crew member we haven't met. Of the
You
characters
think
we've met, though,
Usopp wouldn't?
no.
Really?
I mean, he might, but
His
why
whole
would
thing is to
he
become a
might?
strong
But
warrior of the
why
sea.
would Luffy give it to him? That would be bad. Uh,
Well, I mean, if your point is he doesn't want it, he'll give it to a crew member. Wouldn't Usopp be the
no, I
obvious
said he'll give it
choice?
to someone else.
Oh, I thought you said like to a
Of the
crew member.
no, of someone else. I was listing the crew members like in my
I got
head.
you. My bad.
So I think he'll give it to a crew member we have not met because I don't think it really fits
Mhm.
any of them. But if of the characters we've met, Kobe.
That'd be a hell of a twist.
Or the clown. Let's go with the clown.
Okay, back to Skypia.
Fair.
Without
I
the
think,
clown, sad.
yeah, isn't it cool that Luffy stops a literal lightning bomb just using Goma Goma no Hanabi?
That was so
Like
sick.
Very
firework?
nice.
Because he's conducting it with the gold, and then I think he just does a normal pistol in the manga, but in the anime he does golden rifle. So I
Yeah.
remember that clearly because that's one of my favorite moments of the series. When he rings the bell, and that fight with Enel in the sky, I kind of liked it too because Luffy's kind of learning from Crocodile. Remember when Crocodile was like, "I use like the elements around me to my advantage with my devil fruit," and
Hmm.
like how Mr. Three was kind of part of that theme of like only the right person with the right devil fruit uses it correctly, right? And Enel is
Right.
doing that, like he's conducting electricity through the gold.
Yeah, he's fighting in the sky with lightning.
Mm-hmm. And then Luffy kind of uses this disadvantage of the gold ball to conduct all the electricity, and then he uses that to attack Enel, and because his hand is rubber and it works. So I just thought that move is kind of an him learning like how to use his surroundings, his disadvantages to his advantages. Like he learned from the fight with Crocodile, is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
And then just like the ringing of the bell was the best moment so far for me in the series, where it's just like 2-page spread, like, and I love how the sound effect for the bell, like the dong, like in my version all the sound effects are in Japanese, but I knew exactly that it was the bell because it was outside of the panels when you heard it, so like it's outside of this world, like the bell sound.
Yeah.
So I knew, so even though it was in Japanese, I know that was the dong sound because you heard it outside of the panels. That's how out of this world it was. I thought that was a really cool and clever way to show how like the bell sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I like the anime version of the bell too. So both versions are really cool. Um,
I
yeah,
love that climax of the fight. It's 4 full page spreads in a row.
yeah,
That's insane. He uses golden rifle, and then we get like Eneru getting, shot into the bell along with a bunch of like, reaction shots from people. Uh and then the like, the Todoke, the reach, and then like you said, the bell sound, and it's so good. For the first time in 400 years, the bell is ringing out. It's such a memorable moment too. Like the ringing of the bell in Skypia, it just feels like one of those moments that no matter how far you get into One Piece, you're like, oh, that was a good moment, wasn't it? That
yeah. And
was a really good part.
I love how Luffy is thinking the following. He's like, "Hey, Diamond Head Mister, do you hear it? The Golden City is here for the whole 400 years." And then dong, you hear it's another double page spread where you hear the bell ring. The Golden City has always been in the sky. Chills, literal chills going down my spine. And
Then
then
you get his shadow in the sky.
yes, oh, I love. What did you think about that part, Arnago, with the bell and his shadow and just like
Oh yeah, it was
basically the
really
climax?
fun. It was so fun.
At what point did you figure out that like the shadows were just the sky people?
When he said it, and then I thought, oh, that's lame, and then I moved on.
Fair.
It wasn't a big deal. It was more like, oh, I didn't think of that. I thought it would be something cooler, but I forgot about it in the first place to begin with, to be honest. So
That's
that's
very
fine.
fair. Yeah, they made a big deal of it initially,
And then I forgot it
but
did happen. I forgot it existed. I was like, oh
exactly.
yeah, those
There
are the
was so
same.
much
Oh,
other
that's
stuff that
lame. Oh, I
happened.
don't care. In 2 seconds.
Exactly. Honestly, I think I had the same reaction the first time too. Other than like, wow, Luffy in the sky is super dope.
Yeah, with him with the straw and the straw hat, just like that's how you know it's him, which is just that's so cool. And then I think my favorite page in this entire saga so far is the page where the snake is yelling like happily because he knows the promise. He knew Calgara and he knew Noland. And he's screaming to the sky and he's saying, and then the narrator says, "The proof of the ancient city's once prosperous past, the light of Shandia. It is also the declaration of a truce, the song of the island. Through through 400 years late, it is also the sound of a promise kept." And we see like Waipa and the Shandians look into the sky, like and Gonfall is crying. And it's so good. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that I would like Waipa this much through this reread, through this re-experience of the
He
series.
was a really good character.
He was, yeah.
There was one moment that got me to laugh that I didn't expect to laugh. It was like, everyone's meeting up after the fact, and they're talking about Conus's dad, Pagaya, I think, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm so sorry about your dad. It's like, oh no, Conus, and you see her dad also saying Conus within those faces, and I caught it. And I was like, what? So that actually got me to laugh only because I caught his face before the payoff. uh, if I hadn't, I would have been like, "That's lame." Because I caught it there, I was like, "All right, that's pretty funny."
I
um,
think he calls her Conus-san. He doesn't call her just Conus, even though he's her dad, which is weird. So you hear him say, and you're like, "Wait, what?" uh, what? And then the end of the arc happens, and Wiper wakes up, and the Conus is taking care of him, and he's like, "Oh, we still have to fight!" Like he's still on that "Wah!" Like I have to kill everybody mode.
mhm.
Uh, but then they take him outside, and he sees the party going on, and everybody's partying because nobody wants to fight anymore because they just been through literal end of world trauma kind of stuff. So the appropriate thing, because they do that gag again where Robin, the first time they camped, Robin was like, we have to cut out the fire, and Luffy and Zoro are like, oh, you're so dumb, Robin, we have to do a party, we have to do a fire. And
Yeah,
then Nami
yeah.
is the one this time, they're like, what should we do now? And then Nami's like, go back to the ship. And then Usopp and Luffy are like, Nami, you're so stupid. And she's like, what? I just said we should go back to the ship. They do that gag again, and then everybody starts partying. Everybody comes back to
Yeah, it was
Jaya.
really nice. It was a really nice like capstone on the arc, the last couple chapters, including the very last chapter of the arc finale.
So it's
That
called.
was, that was the name of
Yeah, the last chapter
chapter
is called
302.
finale.
Really?
Finale.
Where they
Yeah.
drop out of the sky. They steal quote unquote steal the gold. Oh
It's
god,
the
that was
first
so
one that really
funny.
does feel like a finale. Every other arc has ended on a what will happen next, whereas this one is very much a closure on the arc overall. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
there's
that's why.
no questions left from this part of the story. Every
Right.
every character that's been set up, every mystery for the most part. There's Goldie Roger, I guess, which was apparently new information. Uh, and there's a
No, no, no.
couple.
That was revealed in Drum Island. Goldie
Okay,
Roger.
got it. Um, but there's a couple tiny things, but all of those come from previous things from before this arc. This was I know people apparently say it's filler, as Saflin said. But
It's not
it's
filler.
not.
Shut up.
But it is, I'm not saying that. But it is a very self-contained story, and it had like a very good finale.
Hmm.
I think that's why it's the most rewatchable arc for me. Just like you said, it's a very self-contained story. Like this saga, they set up a bunch of mysteries in Jaya, and then they answer them in Skypia, and then you're done with the arc. You're done with the characters. Like Waipa has a character arc, Kanis has a character arc. They were like the two major characters, and then Gonfall has a character
Mm-hmm.
arc. They were the three major characters in this arc that we follow and we're with. And then like the Straw Hats kind of have a character arc going from Alabasta and all that stuff. We're meeting Nika Robin for the first time. So it's kind of like introduction to Nika Robin as well, which is kind of why it's such like a self-contained story because we know she's a new character and so she gets emphasis and it's just like you said, it's a really self-contained story. Everything's answered by the end. And when they leave, we feel like happy. Like that was just a fun adventure. Like when they're leaving, they're like, "Man, we're already leaving already. We just got here. We want to stay longer." But they
Can't
gotta go because they thought they stole the gold or whatever, which was so funny that moment. Ah,
can't
God, that
believe you
moment.
guys are giving no love to NL's arc.
Well, man,
Now
if
then, Maxim,
they
let's
get
go to the divine
if they
world that
get
floats brilliantly in the night to
mhm,
endless Verth, or to Fairy Verth, is it in your
Fairy
version?
birth
Fairy
in my
Verth.
version, yes.
Uh,
I
yeah,
was it
that's a pretty cool arc.
if they get Eminem to play Enel, that would be like
That
If
would
they
be
make it to Skypia, I'll be
impossible.
shocked.
There is no way they make it to. I mean, it's doubtful to make it past one season. Like, 'cause
Agreed.
they're only. I believe they're only doing up to Arlong. Like they're gonna cap on
they're doing
Arlong.
it up till Logetown, I'm pretty sure.
I
Oh,
think
which
The
Southland's
one's
first
right.
Arlong?
season, all of Ace Blue.
Which one's Oh yeah, Logtown is the one after Arlong, isn't it? The like 5 chapter 1.
Hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. But if that's in a season, then they'd have to do a season 2, which would. Well, you know what? Never mind. This would be season 3, actually. Season 2 would just
Yeah,
be
what?
everything with
Vivi.
Vivi.
They'd probably
Oh,
cut like an
and
island.
you'd basically just start the season with Chopper, and then
Mhm.
go to Vivi and cap that out.
I
Yeah,
mean, we'll
actually,
have
you
to
wouldn't
see
really
what
need to
they
do
do.
much, huh? Actually, thinking about it, that makes for a good season of television. Well, never mind.
Skypia and Jaya.
Maybe they'll make it to season 3. If they make it to season 3, they make it here. This will be like the
Have to
first half
see.
of season 3. I don't know. But any
I,
other
I let
closing thoughts?
let me look through my
I
notes.
don't know.
I wrote so much notes. I feel like I didn't talk at all. Oh, we didn't talk about Robin and the bell and the
Oh
poneglyph.
yeah, that
Oh,
was what I was going to talk about next. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead,
Um.
Lucian, you start.
Well, towards the end, right? Like after the fighting is settled, um, Robin, the Sky People and the Shandians pull up the bell from the giant, like
Giant
beanstalk,
Jack.
giant jack. Thank you. And upon the retrieval of it, Robin was able to read it to everyone there. And she's now learned the location of yet another ancient weapon, this one named Poseidon. And she was pretty disappointed at the discovery. She turned around after reading the note, uh, uh, inscribed next to the poneglyph. Like someone was like, "Hold on, I think there's some other writing here that looks the same." And inscribed next to the poneglyph was a note that read, "I hereby guide this document to its end. Gol D. Roger." And Gonfall mentioned that the pirate crew he had previously talked about was, in fact, Roger's crew. Did you ever think that,
Oh,
Aggro?
new theory. New theory. I have a new theory. The Straw Hats are acts not even on purpose. They are tracing Goldie Rogers' route. I don't know how. I don't know what purpose. I'm just realizing it's possible. They are going the exact same route to whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think of this as I thought it was 2 seconds ago. They're following his route. I'll say that at the end.
Yeah, because
Sorry,
there's
I just
different
thought of
routes when
that.
you enter the Grand Line. So
Yeah,
you're
there's like
thinking that
9.
they took the same route as Roger after they left Reverse Mountain. Is that what you're saying?
I haven't fully thought this out, but something like that. They are
Okay.
tracing his steps.
Well, we did learn that he was born in Logetown, so it's possible.
True. I never really understood this inscription on the side of the poneglyph, on the bell, where a Gold Roger says, like, I am guiding this document to the ends of whatever you said. I never really fully got it. I feel like this is one of the most confusing, and I hate that I don't get it because it's like one of the big reveals that like Gold
I feel like
Roger can.
I understood it this time. Did you?
I think so. So Robin, I think she's talking about the Rio poneglyph, but in my version, she's like, oh, the real poneglyph, like the document.
Yeah,
Or
it's
she's
just a
saying,
translation thing. Real,
I think
Rio.
she's, I think she's figuring out that each poneglyph is not separated, like it's one document that's been separated. I think that's what she's discovering. I think. I'm not really sure. And then that
Yeah,
Gold Roger compiled them all and put them at the end at his island Rafto, like what she says.
correct. Yes.
So that's what it is.
Yep. So she seemed pretty shocked that Roger, one, would have been able to know Poneglyph script well enough to even carve this, for one. Um, and two, she told the chief, like, this Poneglyph's purpose has now been fulfilled because he, like, Roger and Roger's crew has, guided this document to its end. It no longer holds a purpose. Um, and she said, there are several poneglyphs scattered throughout the world. They all hold information. And by connecting the information held within all of those poneglyphs and reading them, they would become its own document that fills in the blank history. Connecting all of those would then create the real poneglyph, which for us doesn't yet exist.
We
but
have yet to figure out how she knows this, right? Just to be
correct.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
just I thought so. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm. And then she said, because Roger and his pirates have already delivered that to its destination, the Shandorans are relieved of their duty to protect it. And Gonfall had a bit of a line to Robin saying, Luffy sure reminds me of Roger,
Mhm.
which was interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
They both have the same middle initial. Maybe they're related.
True. But yeah, that
What
was
did
a
you
really
think about?
interesting info dump there.
Yeah. What did you like lore and stuff, Inagra? What do you think of that?
It was a good a bit of like added info. I don't think it really like shocked me or anything, but it was interesting. This is more like finding out big reveals about Goldie Roger. So I'm like, of course, that makes sense.
I think this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the first hints for me as to what I think the One Piece is.
Can you tell me, or is that against the law?
I don't think it's against the law. I think what the One Piece is, it's the missing 800 years. That's what I think. It's like the missing. It's the
Oh,
Rio
okay.
Pony. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Roger took it, he compiled, like he says here, he took this poneglyph and he made into his final destination, and we all and Crocus at Reverse Mountain said that the One Piece, or the final island that Roger went to, was Raftel at the end of the world, right? Um, so if the Rio poneglyph is at Raftel, then isn't that the One Piece, right? Um, I could be wrong. That's my theory of what the One Piece is, though.
I do have a theory, but my reasoning for it uh, comes from knowledge we don't gain until. Give me 1 second here. Uh, do. Sorry, it's taking a bit to pop up. You can talk about something else in the meantime.
Isn't it crazy that we're only 300 chapters in?
Only
Yeah.
300 chapters.
Which
Right?
means that there's 667 left until I can talk about why I have my theory for the One Piece.
Really?
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm sure I could find another reasoning to talk about it, but my true reasoning lies in that. I can maybe mention at the end of the episode to Saflam and some of
Okay.
our experienced viewers. I haven't
Yeah.
really thought much into it, but it's a pretty simple thought. But
Is
yeah,
it like one of the popular theories out there?
I don't know.
Or
I
is it
was thinking late at night and thought of it. There might be a popular theory surrounding it, but after I had read uh, Skypia, actually, I was like, you know, had read Skypia and I was thinking of some uh, how some things might relate to some other things to be as vague as humanly possible.
okay.
And it got me thinking about the One Piece.
Yeah. I think Skypia is a really good, like I said at the beginning of the recording, it's really good if you want to know about the themes of the series, like read Skypia and read Jaya together. Read the Skypia saga because it really does have that like inherited will. It's one of the first in the first chapter. That's what's mentioned, and in chapter 100, it's what's mentioned: inherited will with Kalgara and Wiper, and then
The sense of
Luke.
exploration and
Yes,
adventure,
that's true.
the
That's from
goofiness of the
chapter one.
crew.
Just hanging out with the crew, right? And then like saving a country, Luffy's always saving people, right? Even though he's a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Um and what's really disappointing is a lot of people skip this arc because they think it's filler, because they've heard like bad things about it, right? And I didn't think Inagra would like the history or the back end of Skypia, to be honest. I thought
What?
just because my experience
It's so
with
good.
showing people this arc is that they don't like Skypia in general. They just like want to get back to the politics that we were shown at the end of Jaya, right, with Blackbeard and Whitebeard and all that good stuff. But I'm really glad that you liked it though, and you see it for what it is, and it's just like self-contained story, really awesome side quest, basically. Like I said when we were recording Jaya, um, and just a fun adventure with like perfect themes, perfect character development, and just like a really cool setting. Like
Mm-hmm.
an island in the sky and Jaya in the sky and the Shandians and the Skypians and with their culture and like just visually everything is top notch as well. Like we said, like the double page spread for the bell ring and Enel's face with the whole page.
I think this is
Well,
the
it
most
was-
visually impressive One Piece has been.
yeah, I agree with that.
Would you agree, Agro?
By far. Like,
Yeah.
none of the others even come close. The scenery and just, like, big double page panel, it was incredible.
Even like some of the fight, like scenes, the like you mentioned earlier, like the Hanabi, like fireworks. You know, like it's really really well like done. Like it's easy to follow. It can be really hard to follow shonen, especially some modern shonen. It's really easy to follow what's going on in these fights. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
the flow
That's
of
one
stuff,
thing I
the
was
art
shocked about.
style.
Like the One Piece fights are easy to follow if you
Yeah.
read them right. Because I used to be confused about One Piece fights, but the colored version definitely helps a lot with me. And
Mm.
because I've been reading the manga a lot more lately, um, yeah, I think One Piece fights are the best manga fights that I've read so far.
Honestly, I feel like
Mm.
this
The
is the
black,
best use of it being in black and white. Uh, like the way, specifically the way that he drew, like lighting on both the lightning in general, and then the moments when the sky opened up. Just like it was incredible how
Oh yeah, like the bell
like
ringing.
you could it cut to shots of characters and you could easily see what was going on. Like
Yeah.
the shadowing and everything was so good. It was incredible art.
And it's because he doesn't reuse uh old panels for flashbacks too. If he had reused old panels for flashbacks, it would have been like low res, it'd be hard to see. Because he painstakingly redraws every single flashback panel, uh it's impressive, you know, like it's difficult. I'm sure if I drew a manga I would not want to do that, but man, does it pay off in quality.
I guess I'm gonna have to reread it in black and white because I read like some of the last chapters in black and white, and like you guys said, it still held up. It was really good.
Yeah.
Shadowing with the lightning and the light and let there be light. It's just it works. I like the color version though. I really enjoy the
Oh, that's
color
fair.
version.
I understand it. Yeah.
Um, I don't know what else to say. It's like
I don't know. I liked the little in order to counter Enel's like mantra. Luffy used his brand new shiny technique, Gum Gum Space Out, which is just Ultra Instinct before it was cool. And he just dodges every blow and eventually lands a bazooka by I think just bazookaing everything on the arc and his very first rifle. So that was cool. It's the very first rifle in One Piece. Get used to it.
what really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I think Gatling rifle and bazooka are like some of my favorite moves of his.
Yeah.
And balloon. Usen.
Balloon's pretty cool. It doesn't get used often enough, but it's very cool. And then there was that moment where Nami managed to hold her ground for a little bit against Enel by
Yeah, that was really cool.
redirecting the lightning. Oh my god, Uncle Iroh would be so proud. Um, but, you know, unfortunately for her, he just kept on upping the power, so she had to get saved by Usopp. But that was a
Oh,
really cool moment.
yeah, that
Mhm.
was really cool. That was a cool and when it was colored really cool too. In my version, I think I took a
Yeah.
screenshot of it. Uh,
You know what did stand out a little odd to me? Did you guys the Kami from the flashback? He was like a mob boss. Did you guys notice that? Like when
he looked like
the
Yama,
Verth
like the person Robin fought.
a little bit, yeah. Like when the Verth initially landed, like 400 years ago or whatever. Um, he has this huge cigar, big body. He looks like a manga Al Capone. Like, and I liked how at the you know it was already established how even like the Straw Hats struggled to fight. That way, it doesn't make Kelgara seem, you know, it makes sense for Kelgar to lose, since otherwise, why would he lose at full power? You know. But yeah, I really like this arc. I like the little things that it does well, like that. You know, like it set that up in what chapter 2, 3, 1 even. The like, Zoro and Sanji and Luffy can't fight because of the oxygen. You know, they
Right.
just got shot up 20,000, 30,000 feet in the air. They're struggling. Uh, Makes sense. Okay, I'll believe it. Um, yeah. What did you guys think about the setup for the next arc?
There was set up for the next arc.
No, we
Well,
were
set
in
up for
chapter
like moving
203.
forward, I
Oh, I mean, I
guess.
thought it was good. I think most of the setup for the future was, again, like I said, this is very standalone. I think most setup was before this.
Yeah, I mean, they said that the plan for now was to spend the gold that they got to repair the Mary and find a carpenter to repair the ship.
I love how
That's
Luffy's
now,
like, I want a bronze
New
statue.
crew member next arc.
yeah,
New crew
because it's
member.
beyond Usopp's capabilities at this point. Luffy still wants his musician though. So he's gunning for a musician. Everyone else is being
You
sane.
reminded me,
Carpenter,
Lucian.
musician.
Oh, you
Yes.
reminded me. So, when I was reading, just like my final notes that I had here, when I was reading the chapters, I noticed that a lot of the chapter titles had like music terminology in them.
Really?
So the first use, yes. So the first use of this was in chapter 254. It's called The Song of the Dawn, and it's before all the major battles that go on in Skypia. So it's called Song of the Dawn, and then it's Zoro versus the god with his goggles gag. Sorry, Robin versus Yama, Chopper versus the Swamp Guy, Luffy versus Wiper, however small, however short that was. Like all the major fights happen. You have the versus chapters, and then we reach chapter 267, and it's March. 268 is Sweet. 269 is Concerto, 270 is Serenade, and then we do a chapter Zoro versus Ohm, versus he fights the guy that hurt Chopper, and then we go to chapter 272 is Play, 273 is Quintet, 274 is Oratio or Oratorio, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
Um,
oratorio, I think.
or oratorio, that's probably the pronunciation. We go to chapter 275 called Divine Comedy, 276 Shandian Rhythm. And it's interesting because the bell is referenced as the light of Shandora. Like we will not let the light of Shandora go out. And they talk about the bell. When Calgara and Wiper talk about the bell, that's why they mention.
Oh, that's interesting.
Chapter 285 is Caprico, and I googled it, and Caprico is an instrumental work that's in freestyle. And I think this is the chapter where Luffy fights Enel for the first time.
That's cool.
And then chapter 293 is called Bolero, and I looked it up, and Bolero is Cuban music specifically.
Yeah, I think
And
it's like
this
a.
is Bolero happens at the last chapter of the flashback, I believe. Chapter 297 is called The Praise of the Earth. Um, it's when Enel tries to destroy Jaya, but because Earth doesn't conduct electricity, it just goes into the Earth, right? Because that's how lightning works.
Hmm.
And then Praise of the Earth, like, praise the Father. Like, there are prayers in Christianity where they're kind of like songs, I feel like.
Hmm.
So that's why I put that one down. And then chapter 298 is called Love Song. And this is when Luffy rings the bell, I think. I'm not sure. Chapter 299 is called Fantasia. No, okay, so chapter 299 is when he rings the bell. Chapter 298, Love Song, is when he punches Enel, I think. And then chapter 300 is called Symphony. This is after the fighting is over. There's no more fighting. Everybody got a party. And then chapter 302 is finale. It's when they go to Cloud End. They go to Cloud End. They drop off, and then the bell rings as they drop back to the Blue Sea. So I
That's
just
very
thought I
cool.
wanted to make a note of all of that. It's
Yeah,
I
it's really
feel like
interesting.
I feel like I need to do more research because I don't know these musical terms
Mhm.
specifically.
I mean, hey, you
But
noticed them. I didn't notice a single one of them.
yeah, and I think it's just because I've never read the manga. So, and I don't think the episode titles mention these at all. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, and it's kind of like you. I feel like you're going through a symphony because it says symphony chapter 300 and then finale at 302. So you're going through the symphony and then you have the fight and then you're going through more of the symphony and then the symphony ends.
That's interesting. Especially, there are uh, a, a, a small number of things I want to maybe two things I want to quickly discuss when we're done. Uh, without newbie ears aggro. One of them is about chapter 300, but before then, we also at that final chapter we saw Bellamy get the life beat out of him by one of his like henchmen or Doflamingo.
I didn't read that chapter.
No, it was 302.
302.
It was 302.
It was not.
I'll
I don't
double
think
check.
so. Because I specifically asked because I was like, are we reading after they fell from the sky or are we just
Oh, maybe I did read 303 by accident. Okay. We will hold off on
I
that
have
for
no
next
clue
time
what
then.
you're saying. I tuned it out. I don't know.
Oh.
perfect?
Well, that's fine because apparently that was 303.
Good. I'm very happy. I at that moment decided I needed to do it a little bit.
Tune out.
Tune out to the conversation. Perfect.
Well, you should tune out for a moment
That
here.
works. No.
You want to
Yes.
mention it on the
No
podcast, Alicia?
spoilers.
Should we? Should we have a quick spoiler moment? If not, that's fine.
I have to edit this.
I think
Unless one of you are
okay, then forget it.
volunteering to edit this, I must say no. Sad.
No,
we
that's
can talk
okay,
about
that's
it later.
okay.
We can tweet about it or something.
No worries, no worries.
You two can have a next one or next time you get an opportunity when one of you can edit it. You can.
Yes,
throw
no
in a
problem, no
spoiler
problem.
Cast. I'm very sorry to all those who
Yeah.
wanted it, but
No,
now
it's cool.
that we have reached the end ish, where would you rank it, Lucian?
I need to pull up the thingy.
Okay, I don't need to. I would put it at number 2. Personally.
Ah, man. That's good. That's a good man. I thought you were gonna make it low. I thought you were not gonna like it. I'm just happy you like it.
Number
I don't
2.
even care where
Not
you rank it.
quite as good, just because it didn't have as much build up. Wasn't as big. You know what I mean.
Yeah. I see what you mean. The most epic side quest, as I like to call it. Like, don't you guys do that a lot in Elden Ring? I feel like it's just side quests, the game.
I guess. I can point to the best part of the game, The Witcher 3, is the last expansion, which is a 20-hour jaunt in another country, which has nothing to do with anything. So,
Right.
yeah, it can be done.
And is this gonna be number 2 in the group ranking? I feel like it is.
I feel
You guys
like
are
it
gonna-
is. I mean, depends where Lucian places it.
Right.
Unless he places
Um,
it.
Number one. Number one. Number one.
It's between 2 and 3 for me. I don't know if it's better than Arlong.
Oh, then.
I guess I'll put it at 2. That's fine.
Woo.
Yeah. I guess it's the
I mean,
group
you can put
ranking
your
is number
thing
2.
wherever. The group ranking, number 2.
I
Your
agree with
ranking
that
number
too.
2 or number 3 for you,
Me?
Lucian?
No.
2.
2. Okay. I wasn't sure if we were talking about the group ranking or your ranking personally.
No, I meant for the group ranking for that one.
Okay, understood. Well then, what are we reading next?
We're not reading. We're watching next.
Oh no!
Are we?
It actually might not depend on how the order.
We are watching the G8 arc.
What?
Don't mess with the G8 arc. We are watching it. It is filler.
No.
Yes. No, we have to do it. We
No.
have to. It's a must.
No.
We have to do it.
Wait, is it
I'm-
actually a filler
I will
arc in the
die on
anime?
this hill.
Or is it a manga and
I
you're
will
calling
die
it filler?
on this
I'm
hill.
very confused. Lucian, please
is-
explain.
Anime filler, but I will die on this hill.
Wait, no,
we have to.
I'm legitimately.
it.
Is it an anime filler arc?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then me and Savlem can watch that.
Okay, I've seen it before.
week off?
It's good.
Do you want us to do that?
That's fine. Yeah.
Wait,
I'm not
gonna
saying
do that
I
for
like.
Lucian. What? Guys.
You can watch the filler without me. I've seen
I
it. It
think
is
we're
good.
Oh, I hate all of you.
or we can just skip it entirely. I mean, up to you.
No, we're not skipping it.
I will watch
I'm
my
dying on
first
this hill.
bits of the anime ever.
And it's filler.
And it's filler. We'll watch. How many episodes is it? What episodes am I
Like-
watching?
10.
You're watching 196 to 206.
196 to 206. Okay, that's only 10 episodes. That's cool. Oh no.
Oh wait,
have
what is the OP? Is the OP spoilery?
So, well, tell me that.
It
I
shouldn't
can skip
be.
it if it is.
Okay, I'll check
Yeah,
ahead
we'll
of time
figure
for
that
you.
out ahead of time. Does there happen to be a 4Kids dub?
No, not of this.
Not for
I
that.
would have
Stops
watched
in
it.
Alabasta.
I absolutely would have watched that instead.
4Kids stops at Alabasta.
Ugh, darn you 4Kids.
In your
Hold
face.
your ground with your weird censorship. But okay.
Man, Lucian, you're not gonna join us
What
for
what are
G8.
I
the next
like
chapters
it.
we're
Gee,
reading
it's
then?
good. I'll just be busy.
What will be the next chapter
The
we're
next
reading after
the
that?
next manga arc
Mhm.
will be Long Ring Longland.
What?
You heard me.
And what chapters
This is
are
a
those?
manga arc?
What? Wait, what? We're
Declan, this is a
things.
manga arc?
Yes, I thought so. For the longest time, I thought G8 was not filler, and I thought Long Ring Longland was filler.
Oh, no.
But it's not. It's the opposite.
What?
Longland is not filler.
Don't
It
spoil
Are
is
it.
you
canon.
serious?
What
Yeah, you
chapters
didn't
are
know this?
What chapters are this?
It's fun. It's short. It's fun. Like it's a kind of a break. It's whatever. It's just I had no. I totally thought this was filler.
Also, the anime does do a filler part in the arc itself, so that's why it feels like filler in the anime because they add stuff to it in the anime. But no, it's the G8 arc is anime filler, and Long Ring Longrand is manga canon, which
So,
is
my
what
I wish it was the
chapters
opposite
are
for the whole time. I
Long
wish.
Ring Longland.
303 to 321.
Oh, that's nice and short and sweet.
Exactly. See, it is like a short arc.
Yeah,
Okay then.
the anime extends it a bunch. So,
Yeah, anime goes from 207 to 228, which means from 196 to 228 is filler.
so ridiculous.
But regardless,
Right. Is Long Ring Longrand part of the next saga? Like, is it classified?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I
What
remember
is
the end
what
of
is the
Long
saga
Ring.
called?
Okay. Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
You're
I
not
think
getting
it's
me.
fine to
No.
say because
come
it's just
on.
Long Ring Longland and then that.
Okay, tell me then.
No.
Tell me.
No.
Do it.
Oh, hold
No.
on, Safam.
No.
Do you know the name of the saga? I don't think it is what you think it is.
It's the second island, right? It's the
I'll
island
send
right
it to you.
after Long Ring Longrand. Blah,
Just
blah,
tell
blah.
me. It's fine.
Triple
it's-
L.
I know the name of some arcs or sagas. Maybe it might be arcs. I don't know. I know some words.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's fine. That doesn't mean anything.
Do it.
Fine. Whatever. Do whatever
It's
you
the
want.
Water
Yeah.
7 saga.
I've heard of that one. I don't know
Okay.
anything about it. I've heard it's
It's
good.
not like
That's
you
it.
don't understand what it is like with Skypia.
Yeah, that has no context.
If I tell you the Sky Island saga, you know what's gonna
Those
happen.
are words I've heard a long time ago.
If I tell
have
you
no
the
clue
name
from where
of
from.
the next two sagas, you know what will happen. So I'm not gonna tell you them.
That's understandable.
But for Water 7, it is so. What does that
I can't
mean?
wait to meet
That I think it's
Organization
fair
7,
to say.
which is just Organization 13, but all demics. And with that, I think that'll be it for us. Unless I did.
Yes.
Should I walk us out?
Oh, whoops.
Sure, I thought I was going to do it, but you volunteered.
I volunteers tribute. Doo-doo-doo-doo. This was the best saga in the entire series for me, guys. Personally, I love it so much. I love the reread. I loved Wiper. Love Sky Island. I'm gonna miss it. And yeah, fun conversation. I'm glad Inagro loved it. Lucian, I'm hoping you loved it. You put it as number 2.
Yeah, no, I definitely love it.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time in the filler arc, best filler arc in all of anime, G8 arc.
Yeah.
See you guys
Woo.
next time. We'll see you guys next time at
Bye.
Unchained Iron Flag.